In the minimum extraction problem, the only operations are that you have to find the minimum element in the array at a given time, and you have to remove that element from the array and subtract that number from all the remaining numbers of the array. Basically, if this is the array A1, A3, A4, A2, okay, and A4 is the minimum number. So you simply remove this and the remaining array becomes A1 becomes A1 minus A4, A3 becomes A3 minus A4, and A2 becomes A2 minus A4. Basically, find the minimum number in the array at any step of the iteration and subtract that from all the remaining elements of the array, and also remove that element. Now, if in every iteration, for n iterations, what you are trying to do is going through the entire array A, and subtracting it, that would give you n cross n equal to n square, like O of n square time complexity, and here n given maximum can be 10 to the power 5. So the total time complexity would be the worst case would be 10 to the power 10, and that would exceed the time threshold. So consider that this is the array, this was the array, and you have sorted it in descending order, just because it makes pop easier. So say this is the array, okay? This is A1, this is A2, this is A3, this is A4, this is A5. This is the array sorted in descending order. So the first time you would remove A and subtract A from all the remaining elements. So the remaining elements would become A2 minus A1, this is A3 minus A1, this is A4 minus A1, this is A5 minus A1. Now in this array, okay, in this array, this is the minimum element, so we have to remove this A2 minus A1. We remove this, okay, and we subtract this from all the remaining elements of the array. So this now becomes A3 minus A1 minus A2 minus A1. This becomes A4 minus A1 minus A3 minus A2 minus A1. This becomes A5 minus A1 minus A2 minus A1. Now for this array, this is the minimum element, so we have to remove this. And this number is A3 minus A1 minus A2 minus A1. And we have to subtract this number from all the remaining elements of the array. So if we just keep a count of the last number of the array at any given time, okay, consider you take a variable called sum, and initially after the sorting it in the descending order, this is A1, A2, A3, A4. After sorting in the descending order, last element is initially A n minus 1. The difference is A2 minus A3, and sum plus equal to difference, because every time the difference is getting added. First it was A1, then it was A2 minus A1. So by the time you come to A3, the total difference has become A3 minus A1 minus A2 minus A1. So if we run a loop like this in reverse order, what we're doing basically here is that our sum originally was the last element. When we come to the index right before the last index, we say, first time, we say that we change this number to a2 minus sum. And the sum for the first time is simply a1. And now you increment it to this. So sum now is plus a2 minus, this is a1, my bad. And the answer would be the maximum of the minimum of the array. So if you say the answer initially was a of n minus 1, then answer is maximum of the previous answer and the current last element. You're not actually removing any element, but as you're going behind, it's obvious that every element is only being traversed only once. So